I feel like a lot of people think that when you forgive somebody, you're giving them power. But I feel like when you forgive somebody, you're taking your power back. Relationships, I wasn't carrying that weight anymore when it came to past relationships. Guys, welcome back to my channel. That's Key, where I give key points, key advice, key tips through my experiences and things that I've learned thus far in life. We are on my single series, and last time we were talking about self-love. Now we're gonna get a little bit into some things that maybe you guys don't want to talk about, but it needs to be talked about. So today's video is going to be about forgiveness. Before we get into today's video, if you don't know, my name is Kiona, and I do have another channel. I will link down below if you're into other things other than advice. So, forgiveness, y'all. Let me tell y'all why it's important. Forgiveness is important for you. Not for the other person, for you. I feel like a lot of people think that when you forgive somebody, you're giving them power. But I feel like when you forgive somebody, you're taking your power back. I feel like forgiveness unlocks so much, and it takes a lot of weight off of your shoulders and things that you carry in life. When you forgive someone, you let it go. You let that thing go, okay? So I think this was very hard for me because I felt like, I gotta get them back. Or I gotta show them. Or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I just think that, no, you don't. You don't have to do anything. Like, I feel like when you truly forgive someone and you let something go, you regain the peace that you may have lost when that person was doing something that maybe didn't make you the happiest, or upset you, or triggered you, or whatever the case was. It is taking that away and taking that weight off your shoulders and everything else. So, again, it was hard for me to forgive because, especially coming from a past relationship, and then we're thinking about relationships in general, thinking about relationships with my family, friends, etc. I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, why would I do that? But y'all know I'm on my spiritual journey, and God really showed me that, one, anybody that does us wrong, like, we don't need to seek revenge, for revenge is, ultimately God's. But two, it's just like, He forgave us, and this is so good. I have to tap into it, but He forgave us and forgives us constantly for all the things that we do. Like, I know I'm by no means perfect, and up to this day, I am definitely still making mistakes. Not that I want to, but I do. And I, on the other side, looking in any aspect, will want to be forgiven, even if things are unintentional that I may do, or even if it's intentional. Like, I would like to think that people would hope to believe I can grow and mature, and I would want to extend that to anybody else. And then, briefly I touched on previously, talking about peace. And I think a big part of keeping that peace in your life and exuding that peace out to other people that you carry is having that forgiveness. Because when you really let things go, it's like it just leaves, and you overall gain, again, that peace. And that's a choice. That's ultimately a choice. And I also think that, like, I don't know, it just helped me become the woman that I wanted to be and see the things that I wanted to see in my life as well, forgiving others and just believing that I could be forgiven as well. Yeah, it's important. It's going to be important throughout life. We're always going to be forgiving people and things like that. Like, it's a part of life. It's a part of growing up and maturing, and though it's not easy at all, we must do it. And I've always learned by being extended grace, that I can extend grace to others as well. I'm not perfect, so why would I try to put it as if I am perfect and I make no mistakes and everybody else is always wrong? And that's something that I must God forgives, why can't I? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not bigger and better than anybody else. And you know what I'm saying? So that's something that, again, that I've just learned in time. And even when it came to forgiving people and not letting them back in your life, you do not have to let somebody back in your life just because you forgave them. You do not have to extend the same, I guess, freedom that they've had in your life or held in your life just because you forgive them. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that they get to come in and do the same thing. Boundaries exist for a reason, but also they don't have to be in your life just because you forgave them. Like, you can forgive them and let them go for good, and just not give them that power to hold that anger or that resentment or that hurt over you. Like, that when you don't forgive, I feel like you're giving someone that power over you. And it's just like, I've learned in life that nobody holds power over me except for God himself and me. Like, nobody has that power over me. And once I was able to forgive as it pertains to relationships, and when it came to being in my single journey and growing and maturing as a woman, I was able to truly move on and let that relationship go. Like, not let it hinder me as far as it goes into other relationships. I wasn't carrying that weight anymore when it came to past relationships because I had let it go and I forgave that person. And forgiving that person, I didn't hold any other people moving forward accountable for what one person did. And I'm always telling my friends, like, hey, so-and-so may have did that, but do you think that necessarily means that this person is? Like, it's very important to pay attention to what people are showing you presently and living in the present moment, and allowing new people to show you new things and believing those new things that the people are showing you, and giving them a free chance without having other people's mistakes hold you and whatever person going forward back just because you haven't forgiven, you haven't let go. And that's why I say it's a game changer, y'all, because once you do that, it's just like you allow yourself to experience new things in new ways. And one video I had said too, like, as I became this woman, I started to trust myself and like the things that I allowed to happen in my life and the situations I was putting myself in. Like, I can still make mistakes and forgive myself too. We'll touch into that in a second. But I can make mistakes and forgive myself too. But consciously, I always am making a decision and knowing like what those consequences are, the repercussions can be of the decisions I'm making. But nonetheless, I trust myself and where I'm putting myself, like knowingly that I'm making, those conscious decisions. And so, because I touched on this briefly just not too long ago, forgiving yourself is another thing, because I remember when I was in my last relationship and I was like holding it over my head, like, Kiona, how could you let yourself get this deep? How did you put yourself in this situation? Why did you constantly forgive this person? Or why did you constantly allow this person to do the things that they did? Because even in forgiving somebody, I was still being a person to allow, and again, being conscious that I was making decisions that was putting myself into harmful places, I was able to overcome in a different way. But nonetheless, the subject is forgiveness, and I had to forgive myself for that, because I really carried that weight on my shoulders. Like, dang, I was the reason that I put myself in there. And I always say two people can always be accountable, but this is where I had ultimately learned that this was my doing. I didn't have to bear this much pain if I would have moved differently. And just kind of coming into that mindset and that mind frame that how much power I really had over my life and how much control I truly did have, even when I didn't realize it at the time. And I had to forgive myself for that, because I didn't want to hold that weight on myself and then feel like I had to know it all in every single moment of life. Like, when I didn't know it, what can I do? Now, there are times where I do stuff that I do know, and it's just like, dang, Kiona, you messed up. But it's like, I feel better moving forward now that I know things and I make those decisions, because it's just like, all right, well, you can't keep being dumb. Like, let's just grow up, let's mature. We still got some work to do, and it's okay. Like, just knowing that it's okay, because after again, that you let the past go and you let the things that happen go, you can move forward in life, and then you can have new experiences and see new things happen in your life, and maybe some of those things that you're wanting to happen. But to truly get there again, you have to forgive, you have to let it go. So that is all I have to say about this topic. I think I touched on every aspect of forgiveness. But yeah, people aren't perfect, y'all. I'm not perfect. I had to realize the people I was dealing with and maybe still dealing with in life, they're not perfect. And we're all learning on this journey of life. And I think to better experience and help each other, even maneuver through life, we have to forgive. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video.